What up, YouTube? Flash Speaks back with another video. You know how we do. Gotta do another one of these. Hey, this is what happens, man. You go out there, you lose, you get embarrassed, you get exposed, right? A guy like Jalen Hurts can go from being considered the third best quarterback in the league as everybody was on his meat. Okay, pause. After the Kansas City performance in the Super Bowl, right? You can go from being that guy that went to Patrick Mahomes to all of a sudden now, are you overrated? Or were you overpaid? Were you paid too prematurely? And hey, this is what Jalen Hurts is going through right now. So they talk about it on Speak, which is one of my shows I prefer out of a lot of the shows. Most of the guys there, man, one problem they have, though, is either they're fans for certain teams, and sometimes that can cloud the judgment. And they're very reactionary towards what is the most recent thing that happened. Their bias is mostly recency bias. So anyway, the question here is going to be about Jalen Hurts, whether or not he's the problem. And I'm going to listen and then chime in on what I think. All right? So let's go.
Not to see Slim like this, but we had to bring in Slim nonetheless. It's the last day of Slim. Slim, you had a good run. Eagles, they had a good run. Slim, you put up a good fight. The Eagles put up a good fight, but Slim, it seems like this is where you belong. It's better than Cancun, though, because that's where Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert and Lane Johnson and DeAndre Swift are. You look good in your green, though.
Yo. Acho, I'm one of the few people that actually remember Emmanuel Acho when he was on the Eagles, mostly special teams. And I remember he'd get a little run in the preseason, and he stood out to me because of his weird name, ACHO. I'm like, who this boy playing linebacker? Most of the time, he get juked and dudes running behind him. You know what I mean? But, I guess, man, I guess he's a smart guy. He's articulate as hell. I'll give him that. So anyway, man, let's go ahead. Let's see how this go, man.
Pause to touch it so much.
you look good. Shady, I just wanted you to see Slim one more time, man. I wanted you to. How you feeling?
I can't see it loud.
How you feeling? You'll be able to shortly. You'll be able to shortly. I looked in the Eagles players' eyes. I didn't see much heart. So it's fine. Shady.
I gotta agree with that, man. Can't argue with you there, Achi.
Starting to show off like that.
I'm just saying, yesterday we went hard on the Cowboys.
Spicy day.
Yesterday we went hard on the Cowboys yesterday, Shady. You have some words for Dak Prescott. You have some words for Mike McCoy.
This is what happens here, right? Because they went hard on Dallas, right? They feel like they have to go hard on the Eagles now. That's fine. If the Eagles earned it, and I do think they did, you should go hard on them. But it shouldn't be because you feel obligated to do what you did with Dallas. That tells me that you're affected by fan reaction, and you're affected by the statements of people like Micah Parsons that, why don't you show the Eagles the same energy and stuff like that? You should stand your ground and be like, well, the Eagles has shown a propensity to actually get to a Super Bowl recently, whereas you haven't, and that's the reason, and they should just keep it like that. But, I have no problem with them going hard on the Eagles. The Eagles absolutely deserve it, and they won't be any harder on them than I will be.
Shady, today is time for you to have words for Jalen Hurts, sir. The megaphone is yours.
Yeah, we got to hear you.
Oh, no, I don't need to hear you. I don't need to hear you.
You don't want the people in the back to hear you now.
I'm good.
Really, James is the only one with a team still alive. Being honest. Everybody seems is done.
Shady, who do you blame for the loss? Do you blame Nick Sirianni? Do you blame Jalen Hurts, man? Get it out your heart.
I don't blame Nick Sirianni.
Oh, you do?
Slim disagrees.
Oh, you blame Nick?
I like Nick. I blame Jalen Hurts. I blame somebody that gets to Jalen Hurts, right? I think some of the offensive coordinator. And you're saying blaming for just the season?
However you want to take it, big dog. But yesterday particularly.
Yeah. I blame Bradbury. I blame a lot of guys, right? He don't want to tackle nobody.
More to blame, Hurts or Sirianni? I'm talking the two that run the offense.
Okay. Well, you run the questions. I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts, right? Because Nick Sirianni, he don't play football. He may coach. He may lead his team, right? He gets his guys ready to play, puts them in position to win. But he don't go out there and catch balls. He don't go out there and throw passes. He don't block. He don't make guys miss. This goes to the players. I look at Jalen Hurts, who I think is a phenomenal player, an excellent leader. And when you get paid $200+ million, we need results. When it looks ugly, when it looks bad, we need you to take care of that. When the defense is from the Bucs is doing 0 pressures, I need you, the $200 million quarterback. Yo, ho. Let's check. Let's bring the tight end in. Turn back in. Let's max protect this. And let's give single routes, one-on-ones. I needed to see that.
Talk about it.
And it's like, as much as I am a Jalen Hurts fan, I got to be honest and speak what I see. Because that's why I'm here on this job.
No doubt about
So
it.
when you ask me who I blame more, it's got to be the player. If I look at the Chiefs, look at the Bills, right? No matter what's going on, win and loss, it comes down to Patrick Mahomes. Win and loss comes down to Josh Allen. The offense ain't playing well. We're not going to talk about the running back that had the fumble or the guy that had the drop. We're going to talk about the quarterback. What the hell was Josh Allen doing? Why they ain't win? Same thing with Jalen Hurts. I'm not sure if he's healthy or injured. I don't really care. Because in the playoffs, nobody's healthy. And I need him to put the team on the back and get these wins.
Now, Shady McCoy, one of my favorite Eagles of all time, one of my favorite guys to watch without a doubt. Not the greatest Eagles running back of all time. That will go to Brian Westbrook. But Shady does have, more numbers because he played a little bit longer. That would be a fine criticism he just gave there. Who's more at fault, Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts? Had it been from a layman, right? Had it been from just a fan who's watching and is expecting the quarterback to be Superman and get them out of the situation, because I'm going to be honest, while watching the game, I kind of had that feeling as well. Sometimes you want to see the quarterback just rise above everything and show that he's the best player out there. But as an analyst and as a guy who's giving a talk, I got to be real about Shady McCoy. Shady McCoy should not be commenting on the game in the manner that he's commenting in terms of how do you beat 0 blitzes and things like that without having watched the all 22s first. That's bad, and that's lazy. He should be prepared when he comes into this game, when it comes into the work this day, with having had watched the all 22s and gotten to the bottom of why Jalen Hurts looked the way he looked. And then the all 22s also gives you more of an idea of analyzing the coach. The way he talked right here was unfair for him to answer because he didn't analyze the coach at all. The way you analyze the coach is you look at the all 22s. What was actually available for the quarterback to dump the ball off to? Were there any hot routes there? Were there any slants that would beat the blitz? Were there sufficient enough blitz protection put there? To say that the quarterback has to call all the protections, the quarterback has to call all the hot reads and the hot routes and everything, is that an efficient offense? Or is that an offense that is doomed to fail? Especially when you're talking about facing a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Todd Bowles, who's known for blitzing. When you face a guy that's known for blitzing, the game plan is put together not by the quarterback. The game plan is put together by the coaching staff, and then it is told to the quarterback leading up to the game. So I think this was bad analysis on the part of Shady McCoy here. He has the right to believe Jalen Hurts is more at fault, but he should have provided or made a better argument as to why he thinks so. You can't just say, well, because we blame Patrick Mahomes when he does bad, or because we blame Josh Allen when he does bad, or we blame Dak Prescott because when he does bad, that's my reason for blaming him, because I feel like I have to show that I'm not biased because it's an Eagles quarterback. Right? That's not the way you do analysis. And that's what I'll just say about that.
I blame Nick Sirianni. And Jalen Hurts deserves a lot of blame. Jalen Hurts has not been good, and he looked bad yesterday. And we will get to Jalen Hurts. We will. But it's Nick Sirianni for me because they've looked bad for a long time. And it's spiraled. And you got to find a way to stop the bleeding, and he never did.
Nope.
They made some adjustments on the defense, I guess. That didn't really work. And while we're mentioning the defense and mentioning nobody tackling, it's not like it was cold there yesterday. What's the excuse for you bumping into people?
Yep.
That's not a tackle.
No.
I've played exactly 0 plays
That's
of professional football.
flagpole.
But I don't exactly. Like, he didn't even try and pull him. He was like giving it a little yank or something, just a little tap, a little love tap. We're doing a lot of shoulder taps today. Here we go. Spread it around. 30th total defense, 31st in scoring defense, 30th in red zone touchdown percentage, 29th in pass defense, 29th in third down defense, 29th in rush defense since week 13, including the playoffs. What does Jalen Hurts have to do with that?
I got a question.
Yes.
What does Nick Sirianni have to do with that?
He's the head coach. You're the head coach, you're in charge of everything. You're in charge of everything. Certainly Jalen Hurts doesn't have anything to do with it. Somebody got to have something to do with it. It has to be someone's responsibility. It's got...
I'm amazed that Shady McCoy would ask such a question. And what does Nick Sirianni have to do with that when you talk about the defense? Nick Sirianni is a guy that has said that he has his handprints on every single thing that happens with this team. Now, that could be just coach speak where he's trying to take the blame and defer the blame, which is honorable. However, if that is what you're going to say, and we're supposed to believe you and take you at your word, we're going to judge you based on that. And based on this being the case, unless Shady never even heard that Nick Sirianni said that, which means he would be disqualified from even answering the question. But assuming he did, I'm amazed that a player who has played in the NFL believes that players are just out there ad-libbing and making things happen on their own, as opposed to not receiving instructions from the coach, as opposed to not receiving pep talk from the coach, as opposed to not receiving all of these different types of things. Shady McCoy is acting as if a coach serves no purpose. I'm amazed at that.
Fall a little bit on the head coach. You're the one who sees these problems happening, and on top of that, the offense isn't good. It can't be Jalen Hurts' responsibility to be in charge of that, the defense, and everything he's doing. And again, Jalen Hurts deserves a big slice of the blame pie, but that defense was terrible. You just said it. They're not tackling. There's no effort. Where does Nick Sirianni's blame come into this? Because he is the head coach. He's not just the offensive coordinator. He is the head coach. You have to be able to stand in front of a group of men and regroup, make some adjustments, force some adjustments. It's got to be someone's responsibility.
I just think that as the head coach, right, unless you're a special teams coach or something like that, particularly if you have either he's good at defense or good at offense, right? When we look at Sean McVay, we're not going to blame him for how bad the defense used to play for the Rams, right? That's what it is.
Sure you would blame Sean McVay for how the defense performs, because overall, the motivation for players and players being in the right spot, players being properly focused, does fall on the head coach. I'm amazed at Sean McCoy's analysis of football right now.
Andy Reid, that's my guy. I don't never really see him talk to the defense. Chris Jones, he playing? Oh, okay. He playing? Oh, cool. He don't really work with the defense. Yeah. I'm just saying, he don't.
Is the defense bad?
Yeah, well, what you got to look at here is the Philadelphia Eagles structured the same way as the Chiefs. That's what you have to look at. Each team has its own structure. You can't assume that it's all across the board in uniform.
To me.
Used to be.
Bad? This bad?
Never.
Oh, okay.
With Joy, one could make the argument that she's deflecting a little bit because she is a fan of Jalen Hurts. Everyone is aware of that. However, still, despite what your argument is, like, because me, I don't care if a person says it's Hurts. I don't care if a person says it's Nick Sirianni. I'm just looking at how you present your argument. At least Joy Taylor is bringing some numbers to make her argument. She's bringing some logic to go along with the argument. Shady is just kind of being emotional. He's sitting there. He watched Jalen Hurts. He was hoping that, though he saw the bad tackling, he saw all of that. He just wants the quarterback to pull them out. And when he doesn't, he feels like the quarterback is just supposed to get the blame. That's just the way his argument is coming off to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, one of you brothers.
I'm just saying, so it's like, as much as you want to give Sirianni, like, the blame for the defense, and he should because he's the head coach, but how much, though? That's what I'm saying. How much, though?
I understand what you're saying, but I agree with Joy, because I look at Coach LaFleur this year. The Green Bay Packers defense, they've been garbage. Coach LaFleur is an offensive coach. Coach LaFleur said, you know what? I'm going to be in on these defensive meetings and on these installs. Even though I'm an offensive coach, right? I know how people try to stop us. I'm going to give you a little bit of my mind. Even when the Niners was playing bad, what's my man's name? Kyle Shanahan was like, hold on, no. This is how we play defense over here. Not saying he's calling the plays, but you're the head coach. And the bleeding has never stopped since y'all started losing, right? And for me, I blame the head coach because it's very easy to have your players in the right spot, know what they're supposed to be doing. That falls on coaching. At the end of the day, Jalen Hurts gets a lot of this blame, but when I watch some of this stuff on tape, What we doing? What the Eagles doing? And I got some plays to show y'all. I just want the world to see this right here, right? Because everybody want to blame Jalen Hurts, but this is an offensive play. You got 2 All-Pro players. This is a simple screen. We in week 27, and y'all running into each other? Like, come on. And then here, you just talked about this, Shady. Playing with Aaron Rodgers, right? If we get empty pressure all game long, for the receiver to win, it has to be routes to where we're running away from the DB. All year long, he has not checked off of a play. Right here, check a slant to Devontae Smith. That's a walk-in touchdown. But he has not got up to the line of scrimmage and said, hey.
It's not true that all year long he hasn't checked off to a DB, like to a wide receiver. That's not true. But I get what James Jones' point is here. And this is more so towards play design, especially when you know you're going to play against a blitzer.
Hey, check. Here they come. Hey, check that. He has not done that yet. So that means the coaches ain't teaching him that. And then right here again, you see it, Paul.
It's not that the coaches aren't teaching that. It's that the coaches aren't instilling that in the offense.
Right here, this is supposed to be a rub route. Devontae Smith coming off of Goddard's hip, and that's why Jalen Hurts kind of threw this blind because he expected Smitty to be out there. We got 2 dudes in the same spot in the playoffs. And this has been going on. So for me, this has a lot to do with Nick Sirianni. And this is why I give some of this to Jalen Hurts. Because what we doing, bro? You take a safety from the 11-yard line, and you had 2 opportunities to just throw this ball out of bounds. And you see Smitty over there. What are we doing?
Oh, here's my thing.
Yeah, that safety was the most egregious play that Jalen Hurts had made probably all year. Right, because you're pinned back in the end zone. You're talking about this time the Eagles were only down 7 points. You could have just threw the ball away, go to the defense, and the defense at the time was actually getting some stops. So that was egregious on the part of Jalen Hurts, without a doubt.
I'll go as far as to say this: I think Jalen Hurts got exposed this year. We're going to be honest. And the reason I feel so passionate about saying this is the expectations going into this season were higher for Jalen Hurts than they were for Dak Prescott. They had the same postseason results, and Dak Prescott had a better regular season.
Expectations mean nothing. Let's talk about performance.
So as hard as I was yesterday on Dak Prescott verbally, Jalen Hurts is going to have to get it too. He got exposed this season. He got exposed for being a game manager number 1. I am not convinced anymore that Jalen Hurts is actually a trailer as opposed to the tractor. I don't know if he's pulling the team or if he's being pulled by the team. What did Jalen Hurts do to change a game this year? All he did this season was manage games. There's one game you could say, the Buffalo Bills game, in which he changed. But even then, those first 3 quarters were atrocious. Shout out to Jalen Hurts for calling a QB draw to win the game in overtime. But to me, this year he got exposed because he's not as good as we thought he was. If you thought he...
All right. He's just talking real fast and saying a whole lot of nothing. All right. I'll refute some of this because the Philadelphia Eagles... And trust me, I have no problem with a person picking Jalen Hurts, but it has to be based in fact. To say that the Buffalo game where he called the QB draw is the only time where Jalen Hurts had changed something, I would say that whole Buffalo game, he changed things. I would say in the Kansas City Chiefs game, he changed things. He had to step up and change things. I would say the game against the Rams, Jalen Hurts had to use his legs more often than normal to kind of change things. I would say in the first game against the Dallas Cowboys, Jalen Hurts absolutely changed things constantly throughout the game. Because what you can't have is have it both ways. The reality is the team, first 11 games of the season were 10-1. That 10-1 was what got them into the playoffs. This is the reality. You cannot have it where your defense is 29th in the league. And the quarterback is just a game manager who's not doing anything to help the team win. You can't have that. What it has to be is, because the reality is, in other words, somebody has to be doing something right, either offense or the defense. You're obviously not winning because of defense. A game manager type of guy is a guy that runs an offense just well enough to keep it going so that the defense can do what it does. Typically, game manager quarterbacks are guys like, Trent Dilfer during the during the 2000 Ravens. During the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the guy who was the quarterback of the 2000 the Ravens, right? That's typically a game manager. A game manager is typically like Jim McMahon for the 85 Bears. It's usually a situation where you got the quarterback, you have the strong running game, and all of that going on. To try to, after you watch Jalen Hurts play in the Super Bowl last year, think, okay, he's all of that, he's a bag of chips. And to now say that he's not all of that, he's just a game manager, simply because you didn't go back to the Super Bowl, like, to me, is just, now I can't take you serious when you are praising a guy, which is really what I want to get to. Like, these guys are lukewarm. You can't take them serious either one way or the other. Like, would you call Justin Herbert a game manager just because he never makes the playoffs? Right? Like, what are we doing?
Was all that good? He ain't that good. Come on now, family. Like, have we yet to see a 4,000 passing yard season? Have we yet to see 25 passing touchdowns in a season? Come on now, family. To me, Jalen Hurts got exposed. And the reason I can say confidently he got exposed is I don't feel about Jalen Hurts anymore like I used to feel about Jalen Hurts.
All right, so he said the reason I can say he got exposed is because I don't feel about him the way I used to feel. All right, this is the thing, Acho, right? That feel, that's, now you just exposed yourself as being a fan and not an analyst, right? I feel this way about this player. I feel this way about that guy. That's fan talk. As an analyst, you need to actually talk real. And the way you talk real is you go look at the all 22s, so that way you get a real view of what's going on, and that way you can give the proper amount of blame to the coach and the proper amount of blame to the player. Because you haven't done that, I can't really take this particular analysis that you're doing on this day seriously, right? Because you had other guys. You had Brian Baldinger who've done this. You have Dan Orlovsky who have done this. And they're bringing analysis that is more detailed and that is more straight to the point, because they're showing examples of why the quarterback struggles in certain places. And then they show other examples where the quarterback made a misread or something like that. But you shouldn't have this job and be sitting up there sounding like, some of the jokers that's going to be in this comment section or in that comment section, who said, well, Jalen Hurts was just a fraud all along, he's overpaid, all of that kind of stuff, right? You are entitled to that opinion. But for me to take you seriously, you have to substantiate that opinion.
Not at all. I don't feel like he's the kind of guy that can put his team on his back. You showed a lot of plays with X's and O's. Shady and I were talking about this before the show. I'll talk about it on the show. I haven't seen him live above the X's and O's.
True.
A coach will give you X's and O's on Monday to Saturday. But Sunday at 1:25 when that game kicks, or Monday night with the whole world watching, it's time to live above the X's and O's. That means if the play is not there based upon design during the week, make it. That means if the play is not...
Yeah, well, that's stupid, because that's only going to happen during broken plays, or that'll happen at most 3 to 5 times a particular game where a guy just makes the play like that. You can't have a sustainable offense that's above the X's and O's. There's no such thing as that. When we talk about a real team that has staying power, that is really like a juggernaut, they work like clockwork. The old Dallas Cowboys of the 90s, they say that Troy Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin will have practices where there was no drop balls. Okay, they said the San Francisco 49ers will have practices with Rice and Taylor and in Montana with no drop balls. That's how you run an offense. You don't run an offense with just guys constantly ad-libbing and checking off of things, and that's not sustainable. So that is a horrible analysis on the part of Acho.
Executed like we thought it was going to be executed versus practice squad and scout team players, make it come alive. I didn't see Jalen Hurts make anything come alive this year. Last year, week 1, Detroit Lions, he made it come alive. First drive of the game. Last year versus the Colts, A.J. Brown fumble, he made it come alive. Last year versus the Steelers, 4 touchdowns, he made it come alive. Last year versus the Titans, he made it come alive. But this year, when the Eagles roster wasn't as healthy, when Dallas Goedert got hurt, A.J. Brown hurt in the playoffs, this year I didn't see it from Jalen Hurts. So what you got...
Well, the Eagles only lost 1 game when Dallas Goedert was out. So why would you say that?
Tell me, and what y'all are telling me is it's got to be perfect for Hurts. Either the roster has to be a historically great roster. Yeah, Slim, we talking. Either the roster has to be a historically great roster, or the coaching just has to be perfect. If he ain't got perfect coaching, then Jalen Hurts can't ball. Nah, he got exposed for my money this year. I'm just being honest to him.
I won't go as far as say got exposed, right? I think he had a down year, but I think he did show some of his deficiencies this season. Like, when you get paid $200-something million, like, you supposed to be special.
Why does he keep talking about what he's getting paid? What do you keep talking about that for? What does that have to do with anything? This is just this. I mean, but I guess this is game day after emotional analysis. So what I guess they'll do is they'll look back at this and come with a better analysis next time.
Get paid nowhere near that type of money, but I always got paid the top of the charts as a running back. Why? Because I'm special. Yeah, it might not be blocked the right way. I got you. That's what I pay to do.
Yeah, I watched all your games, bro. I've seen you get shut down. I've seen people say you lost a step as well. No, don't give me that, please. I'm an Eagles fan. I watched all your games, bro.
If everything is so
Matter of fact, Shady's thing was he used to dance around too much. There was a whole section of the Eagles fans who didn't like Shady because he would dance behind the line of scrimmage and not hit the hole.
No, it has to be perfect. Then, like, I can't pay you $200 million, right? You just like every other quarterback. And I do think that the offensive coordinator could have did a better job of putting him in a better situation to win. But my thing is like, yo, at this level, at this time, when I'm at the elite level, I'm okay with, I'm going to make my own checks.
Yeah.
I've seen Jalen Hurts make checks.
Oh, my God. That's not sustainable. Like, for example, if you're judging based on that, then sure, he made his own checks all year, and then that's why they won 11 games as opposed to winning 13. You know, that's why they got one and done, because that's not sustainable.
Right? Against the Bills. He made that check.
That one check?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the check. I'm gonna do the QB draw, and then win a game.
Win a game.
What's the difference? Make the checks.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you have that type of power, hey, you got the slant. You got get on your boys. Get on them.
Correct.
All I'm saying is that, like, and I'm not giving him a total 100% of the blame.
No doubt.
He's getting a majority of it because you were the quarterback.
All in this game,
We can't.
And overcome the coach. The hell, the coach sucks. Don't matter what he's calling. If he ain't calling anything, no, you got to just do it. You know, I understand how you feel because you feel like the coach can't affect what's happening on the field, but your analysis is very emotional and not based in anything that's substantial.
And without him, and you have that type of power, and you got that type of money. Like right now, no matter how bad Jalen Hurts plays, we got to keep him. That's how the game works. So if that's the case, we're going to work together then. I need you to be that player where if things ain't working right, I need you to make a difference. That's why guys get paid that much money.
Yeah, I mean, we had a saying in Green Bay in the receiver room, results. You ain't finna kill the person off the line of scrimmage every time. Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, they know how to play too. Ball in the air, results. Body catch, hands catch, whatever it got to be, results, the ball is yours, right? When I look at this Eagles offense, number one, they didn't trust him to do all that. They like, if we really keeping it a buck,
hold on now.
You don't know if they trusted him or if they just simply didn't build an offense that had all of that. You don't know the answer to that. Why wouldn't they trust him if they paid him all the money?
Keeping it a buck, and we are talking about Jalen Hurts. We talking one check, and it wasn't even a pass play. They did not trust him with the offense to be able to check in and out of plays. We have not seen that all year. And to be honest with you,
now you're showing that you don't know anything about the Eagles. Okay, that actual, honestly, it's not a good example, but that interception that that the Eagles that Jalen Hurts threw to A.J. Brown in the end zone in the Seattle game was a check. He has the power to check. That's not, you saying you haven't seen that all year. It's like these guys are just, man, this is a bad day for them as far as their analysis. It's really bad.
Lining up out there and just no movement, no nothing, you should expect your quarterback to have some type of ability to change this play. I played with a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You can never take your eyes off of Aaron. If you looked at the defense for one, you have to stay in cover two and look back at Aaron and he looking at you, you're looking at him like, what you changing to? Because he is changing plays constant. We ain't seen that from Jalen Hurts. But Aaron Rodgers had full control of the offense. I'm not putting him and Aaron Rodgers in the same.
Yeah, I've seen Aaron Rodgers look really bad in playoff games as well. They're not in the same level. No, they're not. But let's not act like Aaron Rodgers hasn't had horrible playoff games as well. We're not going to do that. Please don't.
Bucket, but he had zero control of the offense. Whatever play was called, he ran. We never seen him look at Smitty and say, it's man-to-man right here. We never seen him look at AJ and say, it's man.
This is not true. All of you listening, this is really bad on James Jones and these guys up here who just haven't done their research. They're just being emotional.
Never seen him check out of nothing all year long.
So how you blaming Nick for that? You got the keys.
But not only that,
But they bring in the next coordinator because they might let
How do
him.
you blame Nick for that? Nick is the one that's orchestrating the offense. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. That is completely on Nick Sirianni because it's his offense. It's not the quarterback's offense.
Yeah, they will. They have to.
Who did that first one? They know what they talking about.
no doubt.
When Howie Roseman, right, and Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, when they sit down with the next coordinators, the first thing they're gonna say is, yo, how can you make my quarterback be this and that and the third, right?
Yeah.
So when you say to me, how's Nick get all the blame for that when we gave you the keys and the cash?
But that's the thing. That's why Nick gets all the blame because you didn't give him the keys. You guys paid him a lot of money. Mike McCarthy walked in the meeting room and he said, "The ball is yours, Aaron Rodgers." And at practice, we practiced probably for an hour because we'd go out there, run some no huddle. Aaron would check in and get into all the plays. So I blame the coaches because how has this young man not checked out of nothing? That means you ain't preparing this young man to check out of nothing.
I can't go there and say that. I talked to a lot of Eagle players, and they're not throwing anybody on the bus, but they definitely say that, yo, he got the power to make. I mean, they didn't even tell me that. I figured that. You can't give a guy that much money and don't think that he got the.
But how can you figure it, Shay, that he ain't did it?
So you telling me, all the years you played, and they give a quarterback $200-something million.
Yep.
You telling me you don't think he has the ability to change the plays?
No, I'm not.
Hey, you just keep talking about the damn money. Like, this is, whew, goodness gracious.
Saying he doesn't. I'm saying they did not prepare him to do it because we ain't seen it. I seen Aaron do it. I seen Josh Allen do it, but they have not prepared him to do it because he ain't checked into one play.
We'll get back to that in a moment. But, Joy, answer me this. Do you believe that Jalen Hurts got exposed this season? Has your opinion changed of Jalen Hurts? How are you now feeling about it now that the season is over?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Hurts isn't Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen.
He's not.
I didn't think he was Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen before this season.
Right.
I do think he has been
Yeah, Josh Allen. Come on, man. All right, I'm not even going to get into that, but go ahead.
exposed in that he does need a very specific offense. He needs less control. He needs an offensive coordinator that is hyper-focused on putting him in the best position to win, which, by the way, is a lot of quarterbacks in the league. No, he's not in that upper category yet. But I also am not just going to forget what happened last year. So if you're talking about exposed this year, yes, for sure. He's not going to take the keys of the car and drive the Ferrari through Monaco and have no scratches on it. That isn't what he is yet. And maybe that isn't what he is ever. But you have to know your personnel. You did pay him, and then you gave him the keys, and it didn't work. On top of a bunch of other things that went wrong this season, again, the defense was very, very, very bad, which is a big problem to have. Most quarterbacks are not overcoming one of the worst defenses in football. You really don't, we rarely ever even see that. It's not even a conversation. There's two sides of the ball. Having one of the worst defenses in football is the responsibility of the head coach, and that matters. When you're talking specifically about how Jalen's played, we have learned that he's not capable of overcoming, the worst defense in football, or one of the worst defenses in football, and a changeover of this nature on the offensive side of the ball, which Nick Sirianni is in control of. So if he's not, if you two can't come together to figure out what works best for your personnel, which is the head coach's responsibility, and then the player can't come to the coach and say, this isn't working, or I don't feel comfortable, or I'm not healthy enough to do this, or whatever it is, to me, it's almost a communication issue. How are all of us seeing a complete tailspin for the Eagles and nobody stopped to adjust anything at all? So it's a failure overall, but to say that he was exposed to me means he's not capable of playing at a high level anymore. Is that what we're saying?
No, I'm saying he is not who we thought he was. Let's remember, before the season, many people put Jalen Hurts above Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts was all pro, hard to do. Jalen Hurts
Well, of course he's not above Josh Allen, because why? Because Josh Allen won his playoff game and Hurts didn't. If Hurts won his playoff game, Josh Allen didn't, then all of a sudden Hurts is better than Josh Allen, even though they played head-to-head, and Jalen Hurts actually beat Josh Allen this year. Right, this is the thing about these guys. Well, listen, I'm going to stop there because I don't think he's going to add anything to the conversation. They're emotional, they lost. You thought Jalen Hurts was this guy, and he's not that guy. I don't even know what that guy means, because, you do have to have, like, offensive players. The team did win 11 damn games, so somebody was doing something right at some point in the damn season. But whatever the case, man, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is what happens. This is just the way it goes, man. When you disappoint, you don't go to the Super Bowl. You become one and done. The team tail spins off the cliff. Even though his numbers weren't horrible in the game, it ain't like he went out there threw 3 picks or anything like that. He didn't do enough to win the game against the Buccaneers. They didn't like the way that he didn't. To him, they acting like it's just him dealing with the blitz. He's supposed to call all the checks and everything. So, I mean, this is what happens, man. So, hopefully next year, man, my man can turn it around. And that's all I want to say about this, man. Peace.